Welcome to Today in Nerd History.
The Apollo 1 tragedy happened January 27, 1967. Today we remember Lieutenant Colonel Virgil I. Grissom, Lieutenant Colonel Edward H. White II, and Lieutenant Commander Roger B. Chaffee, all great men whom we lost today in 1967 when a flash fire occurred in the command module during a pre-flight test. The fire was first reported at 6:31 p.m. Eastern Standard Time from Launch Pad 34A at Cape Canaveral Air Force Station. This crew was supposed to fly the first Apollo crewed mission to have been launched in late February. At the time, the vehicle was referred to as AS-204, since it hadn't launched yet, and many reports refer to this as the AS-204 accident. Following the tragedy, NASA began calling it Apollo 1. Laverne Shirley premiered January 27, 1976. This series follows the unpredictable exploits of two single women living as roommates as they try to deal with the several personal and professional issues while also being best friends. This series was a spin-off of the super fabulous Happy Days TV series. Galactica 1980 premiered January 27, 1980. This series is a generation after the original Battlestar Galactica, and its fleet of 220 civilian ships finally discover Earth, but find that the planet is technologically backward in relation to the colony technology. As a result, Earth could not defend itself against the Cylons as originally expected. Therefore, teams of colonial warriors are covertly sent to the planet to work incognito with various members of the scientific community, hoping to quickly advance Earth technology. Commander Adama and Colonel Boomer, now second in command in place of Colonel Ty, send Captain Boxey, Troy, the adopted son of Adama's own son Apollo, and Lieutenant Dillon to North America. The two become entangled with TV journalist Jamie Hamilton, who aids them in devising ways to help Earth's scientists and outwit the handful of Cylons that discover the planet. The cast includes Lauren Green as Commander Adama, Robin Douglas as Jamie Hamilton, Herbert Jefferson Jr. as Colonel Boomer, Richard Lynch as Xavier, Kent McCord as Captain Troy, Alan Miller as Colonel Seidel, James Patrick Stewart and Robbie Rist as Dr. Z, and Barry Van Dyke as Lieutenant Dillon. The Star Trek The Next Generation episode, Hero Worship, aired January 27, 1992. In this episode, a traumatized boy rescued from a wrecked ship is drawn to Data while Picard attempts to discover the cause of the vessel's destruction. The Star Trek Deep Space Nine episode, The Begotten, aired January 27, 1997. In this episode, Deep Space Nine celebrates the birth of O'Brien's baby, as Odo and Dr. Mora struggle to save the life of a changeling infant. The Star Trek Voyager episode, The Bride of Chaotica, aired January 27th, 1999. In this episode, transdimensional photonic life forms on an exploratory mission become entangled in a war with the characters from Tom Paris's Captain Proton program after mistaking Voyager's holodeck for reality. The Rick and Morty episode, Rick Potion number 9, first aired January 27th, 2014. In this episode, after Rick gives Morty a love potion for prom, things quickly spiral out of control when the serum splices with the flu, causing it to spread. Rick and Morty scramble to cure the crisis, making matters worse in the process. Happy birthday, James Cromwell. Born January 27th, 1940. James Oliver Cromwell is a highly respected actor and veteran Star Trek performer. While he has made several appearances on 3 Star Trek series, he is best known to Star Trek fans for his portrayal of Zefram Cochrane in the 1996 film Star Trek First Contact. He would go on to make an uncredited cameo as Cochrane in Broken Bow, the pilot episode of Star Trek Enterprise. He had earlier made guest appearances on Star Trek The Next Generation and Star Trek Deep Space Nine. He has become a highly recognizable figure outside of Star Trek. He earned an Academy Award nomination for his performance as Farmer Hoggett in the 1995 family film Babe, a role which he reprises in the 1998 sequel Babe, Pig in the City. He also acquired praise for playing a crooked police captain in the highly acclaimed 1997 L.A. Confidential. He was on the TV series Citizen Baines in 2001. He would star as future disgraced United States Senator Charles Keating in the 1996 biopic The People vs. Larry Flint. One of his earliest films was 1978's The Cheap Detective. He followed this with roles in such films as 1983's The Man with Two Brains, 1984's Oh God, You Devil, and Explorers. In 1988, he was in the pilot episode of the TV series China Beach. He played Mr. Skolnick in the 1984 Revenge of the Nerds and would reprise the role in 3 sequels: 1987's Revenge of the Nerds 2, Nerds in Paradise, 1992's Revenge of the Nerds 3, The Next Generation, and Revenge of the Nerds 4, Nerds in Love. He has been particularly busy following his Oscar-nominated role for Babe, starring in such major Hollywood films as Deep Impact, The General's Daughter, The Green Mile, The Sum of All Fears, I, Robot, Spider-Man 3, and Becoming Jane. He voiced the character of Virgil in the animated adaptation of Dante's Inferno, and played George Herbert Walker Bush in Oliver Stone's W. He co-starred on the miniseries Once an Eagle and was in the miniseries Dream West. He was in the TV movies Miracle Landing, Failsafe, and RKO 281. In 2003, he was in Angels in America. That same year, he had guest starring roles on the HBO series 6 Feet Under, which led to his earning another Emmy nomination and becoming a regular cast member on the series from 2004 until it ended in 2005. He also received an Emmy nomination for a guest appearance on the TV series ER. He has also guest starred on 24 and the Masters of Science Fiction episode Watchbird. Happy birthday, Tamlyn Tomita. Born January 27th, 1966. Tamlyn Tomita is a Japanese-American actress who plays Commodore O in Star Trek Picard, making her first appearance in the Star Trek live-action franchise after having already made recurrent appearances in such popular genre franchises as Quantum Leap, Heroes, the Stargate franchise, Eureka, and Prime Video's The Man in the High Castle. She played Lieutenant Commander Laurel Takashimi in the Babylon 5 pilot television film The Gathering in 1993. After making her debut in the sequel The Karate Kid Part 2, she later had key roles in films such as Come See the Paradise, The Joy Luck Club, 4 Rooms, The Last Man on Planet Earth, The Killing Jar, Living Out Loud, Robot Stories, The Day After Tomorrow, Only the Brave, The Eye, Tekken, Daddy, and The Good Neighbor. She had reoccurring roles on such TV shows as Santa Barbara, Vanishing Son, Sisters, The Burning Zone, Nash Bridges, Crossing Jordan, Jag, 24, The Agency, North Shore, General Hospital, Law and Order L.A., True Blood, Teen Wolf, Resurrection, How to Get Away with Murder, Chasing Life, Berlin Station, and The Good Doctor. She reprised her 1980s role as Kumiko for 2 episodes in Season 3 of Cobra Kai, a modern TV sequel to the Karate Kid movies. Happy birthday, Susanna Thompson, born January 27th, 1958. She is an actress who has played 4 characters in the Star Trek universe, most notably that of the Borg Queen in the Star Trek Voyager episodes Dark Frontier, Unimatrix Zero, and Unimatrix Zero Part 2. She has also played 2 characters in Star Trek The Next Generation, and played Lenara Khan in the episode of Star Trek Deep Space Nine entitled Rejoined. Outside of Star Trek, she is probably best known for playing the reoccurring characters of Lieutenant Colonel Hollis Mon in several episodes of NCIS, and as Mora Queen in Arrow. She's great in that series. She played Carolyn Preston in Timeless, which is another really good series, and in Legends of Tomorrow, she played the uncredited role of Earth 10 Gideon Voice in the episode Crisis on Earth 10 Part 4. Happy birthday, Julie Caitlin Brown, born January 27th, 1961. She is the actress, agent, musician, and filmmaker who played the role of Tai Kajata in the Star Trek Deep Space Nine episode The Passenger. Later she appeared as Vakor in the Star Trek The Next Generation 2-part episode Gambit Part 1 and Gambit Part 2 in 1993. She is probably best known for playing the role of Natoth in the first season of Babylon 5, a role taken up by Mary Kay Adams for 2 episodes in Season 2. Brown reprises the role for 1 episode of Season 5, and also played a human lawyer in a 2nd season episode. She also made guest appearances on several other shows, including Beverly Hills 90210, Sliders, Jag, Becker, and Law and Order Criminal Intent. She played Tammy Tennis in All About Evil in 2010. Remembering Marc Daniels, born January 27th, 1912, and passed away April 23rd, 1989. Marc Daniels, born Daniel Marcus, was a director of many Star Trek episodes, credited with a total of 14 episodes if counting the Menagerie Part 1 and the Menagerie Part 2 as a single episode. He is tied with Joseph Pevney in directing the most number of episodes from Star Trek the original series. He also wrote an episode of Star Trek the animated series, although he had only one other writing credit in his long television career. He also wrote an undeveloped story outline entitled The Beast for Star Trek. His work on Star Trek garnered him 1 Hugo Award and an additional 3 nominations. Earlier in his career, he directed the first 38 episodes of I Love Lucy. In 1961, he directed the episode In the Highest Tradition of Gene Roddenberry's The Lieutenant. In 1974, he directed a pilot written by Roddenberry and entitled Planet Earth. Besides this, during his 41-year career as a television director, he helmed episodes of such series as The Man from U.N.C.L.E., Gunsmoke, Ben Casey, Mission Impossible, Bonanza, Hogan's Heroes, Kung Fu, and Barnaby Jones. Remembering Mart McChesney, born January 27th, 1954, and passed away January 14th, 1999. Mart Dane McChesney was an American television and film actor, known for his appearances in Star Trek The Next Generation as the tar creature Armus in the 1988 episode Skin of Evil, and as Shellyak in the 1989 episode The Ensigns of Command. For his appearances, he wore heavy prosthetics and costumes.
Well, that's it for today, folks. I appreciate you listening, and if you enjoyed the show, please feel free to tell your friends about little old me here. Have a wonderful day.